Hi, kindergarten, first grade mathematicians. How's it going? My name is Miss Lay and I teach kindergarten at Olympic Hills Elementary School. Today, we're gonna find things around our home to help us count. Some of you might know that as counting collections, except that we're gonna do it in our very own home. Let me show you what counting collections means really quick.
Okay, cool mathematicians. So counting collections means when you gather a group of things in your home and you find out how many there are by counting. Now, just so that we remember what counting collections are in our brain, I want you to teach it to three different things, okay? I first want you to teach it to your favorite stuffy or toy, and then I want you to teach it to your second favorite stuffy or toy. And finally, I want you to teach it to at least one family member in your home. Now, if you have another language that you speak at home with your family, it would be so cool if you taught it in your home language. I'm going to show you how I like to teach it to my favorite stuffy, my second favorite stuffy, and to one member of my family, and I'm going to use my home language to teach it too. Here we go.
That's Rue. Counting collections means when you find things around your home and you count them, okay? Excuse me, Mr. Husky? Yeah, what's up? Counting collections means when you find groups of different objects around your home and you count them all, you even might write it down. Got it? Yeah, I got it. Woohoo! The phone's ringing right now. I'm calling my mom so I can teach her what counting collections means in Vietnamese, my home language. Oh, hi má hả? Con nè, Bảo Ánh nè. Má biết không á, counting collections á, nghĩa là lúc mà mình tìm mấy cái đồ trưng quanh nhà của mình đó, rồi cái mình đếm bao nhiêu nó có, rồi cái có khi mình cũng viết xuống nữa. Nó giúp mình đếm trong đầu của mình á. Yeah. Okay, bye má nha, con nói chuyện với má bữa khác nha. Bye bye mommy. Mathematicians, I just showed you how I teach counting collections to my favorite stuffy, my second favorite stuffy, and my family member. It's your turn. Press pause so you can teach it too. Hello, kindergartners. How's it going? So today, I want to show you how I like to find counting collections in my own home, how I like to count them in different ways, and how I will write it all down. That's what it says right here. It says, I can find counting collections in my home, count them in different ways, write it down. Okay, I'm gonna let you look at that so that you can read it, and feel free to pause while you read it with your family or read it to yourself. All right, friends, so this is what I was able to find in my kitchen. A basket of tangerines, a tub of rice. It is super tiny, but that's gonna make it even easier to do when you write them down in the next part of the counting collections that I'm gonna show you. And one of my favorites, a gigantic bag of chocolate chips. Okay, so do you have to do counting collections with food? No, you can do them with games or toys in your home too. I'll show you what kind of games I have in my home. Yeah, I got some games here that I like to play. I'll take out, oh, these might look good here. Let's look at this first shelf here and see what we got. Okay, so I got, let's see, this big checkers, Chinese checkers, chess and checkers set right here. I got some chess pieces. These look good to count. I got some dice. Ooh, I could use these for other math games later, some with numbers on them. I got some checkers pieces, as you can see right here. I got some, I don't know what these, plastic sticks with tiny, tiny other little pieces that look almost as small as rice. And I got these super ruly looking balls here. They're very colorful, they're very cool, but let me ask you, do you think that they are going to be a good idea to count them for counting collections? No. And do you know why? It's because they roll all over. Let me show you what happens when you dump these out as you try to count them as part of your counting collection. Okay, so we know we're not going to be using these super rolly balls here. But let's see, what else I got? I have, Scrabble pieces. I remember that, there are a bunch of letter blocks in here. I've got letter U. It's very cool. I'm gonna save that aside. And I have a 1,000 piece puzzle. Now, do I already know that there is already 1,000 pieces in here? Yes, I do. But could I still find different ways to count them? Yes. This is going to be one long session of counting collections. I can't wait to see how many different ways I can count them. This is so exciting. Okay, so now I'm going to take all of the choices that I found back to the table over there and decide which one I really want to use. Okay, so now I've got all of my top choices for counting collections that I want to try today. And you know what? I think I'm gonna save the 1,000 piece puzzle for another day. I mean, that's just gonna take a whole day. So I know that I'm gonna need to plan a separate day for that. And oh my goodness, as much as I want to count these chocolate chips, I think I'm gonna wait until a day when I actually bake something with them and then maybe even do more math to see how many chocolate chips I can put in each cookie if I bake chocolate chip cookies. Ooh, okay. So, you know what? I think I'm gonna choose my tangerines and I'm gonna choose my little itty bitty rice right here. Those are my top choices for counting collections today. Okay, friends, so did I find counting collections in my home? Yes, I chose my bowl of tangerines, my basket of tangerines that I'm gonna do today, that I'm gonna work on today, and I took out a little cup of all the little rice pieces that I'm gonna count today. Now it's time to do the second part, which is I can count them in different ways. You're also going to write it down. Let's start with this one, okay? So before you count any of your counting collections in different ways, you're gonna need some paper, okay? You're gonna need some paper. You're also gonna need something to write with again. And again, I chose my markers. But like I said, you can choose crayons, you can choose pencils, you can choose pens, anything that you want to use to write with. And since these are so tiny, you can just use a regular size piece of paper like this. And I would say for the tangerines, you will want to use a bigger piece of paper to put all of your counting collections on them. Okay, do you have any questions so far?
I have a question. What if I don't have any big piece of paper like we use at school?
Oh, that's a really good question, Panda friend. Let's see. Oh, I don't have any big pieces of paper either for my tangerine counting collections. What do I do? Ah! You could ask your adult to see if they have a paper grocery bag that you can use for your counting collection learning, or a big cardboard box. Now, you're gonna have to ask them to help you to cut these apart so that it can become one bigger piece of paper. I will show you guys how I do that real quick.
Baby, this is what you came for. Lightning strikes every time she moves, and everybody's watching her, but she's looking at you. Hey, this is what you
all the paper I need, including the regular size ones for my tiny little rice and the big shopping bag and cardboard ones that I just showed you guys how to cut out. Remember to ask your adults permission to use those and ask them to help you. Okay, so let's get started with our counting collections with the rice right here. I'm going to show you how I might count them by ones and by tens. And don't worry, there's a ton of rice in here, so I'm going to put it on super fast so that you guys can see. Took a super long time, but I did it. I counted all of my uncooked rice. And how many do I have? 83. Yeah, so just a tip, if you're going to be doing the small type of counting collections like this, spread them out a little bit more because I had to be super careful not to mess up the positions of the rice as I was circling them and count them. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and put them into groups of 10 on the orange paper. So I just put these rice into groups of 10, but I actually didn't I actually didn't write down the numbers because I want to count out loud with you guys. Hopefully you guys can help me count. So as we count these groups of rice, I'm gonna write them down, okay? So remember, if I'm gonna count by 10, so the first number I put down is not gonna be 1, but it's going to be 10 because there is a group of 10 little rice in here, okay? So after 10 and then another group of 10 makes 20, another group makes 30, another group makes 40, another group makes, 50, 60, 70, 80, stop. That doesn't mean I stop counting completely, but it means that I will stop counting by tens. Now there are 2 little baby rices left, okay? So after I put 80 in my head, boop, after I put 80 in my head, I'm not going to say 90, but I'm going to go one more rice, which is 81. And then one more rice makes 82. Uh-oh. I have a bit of a problem here. So look at the old paper for when I counted by ones. I thought that I had counted 83 little rice things, but according to this one, it looks like I counted 82. So here's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking that I either counted by ones wrong or I put too many little rices into the groups of 10. So maybe I put 11 pieces of rice in one group instead of 10. After this, I'll probably go back and double check on that, but I want to show you guys how I'm going to count the tangerines next. It's my favorite part. You ready? Yay! So when I say that I'm going to count by 5s, I literally mean you're going to put them into groups of 5 first, okay? So watch how I do the first one. My first group of 5. It's exactly like how we do a group of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I am going to go ahead and circle that so that I remember that that is already a group of 5. And I'm going to do it with all of the other tangerines. Here we go. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 5 tangerines. Can everyone say that? 5 groups of 5 tangerines. You might see right here that there are 3 extra ones, I'm not putting them into a group of 5 because, well, obviously there's only 3 of them. So I don't need to put them into 5s. We know that we count these groups first, and then we count these ones in the end by 1s, because that's how we know that we can count it correctly. Okay, are you guys ready to count by 5s with me? And if you're still having trouble counting by 5s, you can use your hands, because we know that we have 5 fingers in our hands, and just keep counting on from the last number in our head. I'm going to show you what I mean by that, okay? So when I look at the first group, I know that I'm just going to say 5. How many is that? 5. So I'm going to write 5 right here, okay? So now the next group of 5 is going to be, let's put 5 in our head. Boop, 5, count on from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 10. That is the next group, 10. Notice how I was still whispering the numbers by 1s. That kind of helps me to practice counting by 5s, okay? I'm going to count them again. 5, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to put 15 right here. And I'm going to count from the beginning again, because that's, again, going to help me count by 5s, okay? Here we go. 5, 10, 15, put 15 in my head, boop, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, I'm going to do it again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, boop, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, I'm going to write 25 and count it again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Stop. Now I'm going to count by 1s. 26. Write that down. 27 and 28. Okay, friends, so we just counted all of the tangerines that I have in my home, and it turns out I have 28. And what did I just count them by? I counted by 5s. 5 is actually kind of pretty hard for me to count, but once again, you can always whisper those other numbers in your head to help you practice, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Make sense? Okay, good. So now we are going to try to count them by 2s. I want to show you how I like to count by 2s. It is the exact same thing. Put them into groups of 2 or into partners, because there are 2 people in a partnership. All right, so now you can see my groups of 2 here. And like I said, if you're still practicing to count by 2s like I am, just whisper every other number. Not all the numbers, but definitely whisper the number 1 and count with me if you like. Here we go. I'm going to write them down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one big counting by 2s without saying the other numbers, and straight up just count by 2s, okay? Try to remember the way that you wrote, in the order that you wrote them, so that you can count them in that direction too, okay? Here we go, starting here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Awesome job, everyone. Yay. Please remember to clean up everything, just like how it's important for you to clean up everything in your classrooms. As you can see here, I cleaned up my oranges. I cleaned up my little rices, especially these. These are really important. You want to get every piece. And I'm about to put my new counting collection mats in my learning closet because maybe I might want to practice counting by 5s or by 2s again. So now, kindergartners, it is your turn. I just showed you how I found my own counting collections in my home, how I counted them in different ways, and how I wrote it down all on my own, okay? I told you I counted by 1s, by 5s, by 10s, and by 2s. You can count it the same way I did for practice, or you can count it in your own way. Find other different ways to count and show me. If you feel like you want to practice counting by 10s for now or practice counting by 1s for now, that's great. Practice at your own pace because that's the most important thing. So after you've done all that important counting work, there is only one thing left to do, kindergartners. Do you know what that is?
Everybody's watching her.
If at least 10 kids send their awesome counting collections work to me, there might be a special floss dance in the next video. Have fun with your counting collections! All right, mathematicians, so I just showed you how I found counting collections in my home, how I counted them in different ways, and how I wrote it all down all on my own. Like I told you, I counted all my counting collections by 1s, by 10s, by 5s, and even by 2s. You could do the exact same thing that I did, or you could go at your own pace. If you don't feel like you're ready to count by 5s or by 2s, then count by 10s and 1s. If you don't even feel like you're ready to count by 10s, that's fine. Count by 1s and just go from there. If you feel like you want to try to count by 6s or by 7s or by 20s, go ahead and do that too. All I know is that I'm really excited to see how many different ways you guys can count your counting collections and how you're going to find them, so many different ones in your home. So mathematicians, now that we finished doing all of that important counting collections work, there's only one thing left to do. Do you know what that is?